you at home tap? No, I mean, clearly. We're talking here about what you're trying to do, apart from maybe not pet the dog with the extremely long tongue in this exact context in the teeth. So the thing is, again, if a character fails enough of these endurance scenes, they may not survive future encounters. It's potentially going to lead to their permanent death in the story. We've had a lot of feedback, by the way, on the endurance scenes because we wanted to get the look and feel right, and a lot of you have written into us about them. We're going to actually talk about that in development updates in the post-show if you want to hear more about that. In the meantime, though, the endurance scenes are, for sure, one of the best places to earn large amounts of influence points. They're one of the biggest highlights of you tuning in live from the perspective of interacting with the story. But don't worry if you succeed. Don't worry if you fail. They just influence the story fundamentally. They're not an individual judgment on you. They're part of how we shape Silent Hill Ascension.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you, as somebody who's who likes a little bit of challenge usually when she games, when I started getting those inputs, I'll tell you, there was a sense of accomplishment for me learning, especially the tap used to get me a lot, and now I can tap.
Yeah, it's great. Personally, I just like to see characters go through horrible situations. So, I'm much more on the different side. I'm much more passive about my horror experience. But again, it's part of the thing about the endurance scenes is, like, you do want to help, right? Like you don't really want the character to be eaten by monsters alone in a dark room. You want to be eaten by monsters alive along with their friends and family. That's much more interesting to me. So it's very important to get the characters to survive until we can kill them off properly. That's how I feel about this.
Eduardo, I'm picking up a very surprising sadistic streak with you that is making me concerned as your coworker. But hey, we can talk about that while the stream runs. For now, why don't you take us out?
Sure, absolutely, my delight. So one of the things, right, we saw Toby die. That was a really key scene and a really important point in our story. What you've kind of seen in the scenes, however, that played yesterday, Orson vanished, the fog rolled in. Rachel's also looking for Faith. Now, while that's kind of starting, she's asking Eric, we're not quite sure, but there was a monster there. That's not a good sign. So again, we've had kind of our peak. We've had the death of one of our characters that we know, like a lot of you in the audience really like, Toby. But as a result, we're kind of again setting up. We know that things are building up, and we want to go to the next part of it. We had Ingrid's funeral. Obviously, Toby probably needs some kind of memorial. You saw that the scene that's coming up, last rites. So again, you're going to enjoy that, we hope. Reminder, after that, we will be back for the post-show. It'll be both myself and Layla. So for now, what we're going to say, the show starts in about a minute. Last chance to grab a glass of water. We're going to sign off, and we hope you have a delightful time.
Piece of garbage. Hello?
Hey, man. I know you're not supposed to be talking to me and all, but I need a favor. I left you a little something. behind that washing machine that's always breaking down. Should be enough for you to go to the Silver Pines and buy everybody around on me. When you do, make a toast. Tell them that Toby Sorelli said they can all go fuck themselves. You're probably wondering, why wouldn't Toby want to revel in all this beautiful chaos himself? It's because I'll be dead. Let's face it, the world's gonna be better off without me. So, I'm gonna finally do the right thing. Like you always seem to do. I just want you to know that well, you're the only real friend I ever had. See you around.
Come on. Pick up the phone. Hello? Toby?
You'll take me to Orson, Mama? Promise?
Of course. Take my hand. We will go together.
I just want him to be okay.
There now. Let Mama take care of things.
How much further is it, Mama? Mama? Ugh. Orson?
Faith? Faith? Where are you? Faith?
Whoa! Careful.
Oh, sorry. I didn't see you there.
You haven't seen a dog, have you?
A dog? No, I'm looking for my daughter.
Your daughter? Did you lose her?
She, must have wandered off.
My pup got off the leash, and I've been trudging through this pea soup for an hour. We could look together. Maybe your kid's with my dog.
Yeah, okay.
I've seen you before. Foundation, right?
I think so.
My wife used to go there. Before she died.
I'm sorry for your loss.
I'm alright. That's why I got the dog. Thing is, when she got sick, my wife wouldn't go see a doctor. She was convinced the foundation could make her better. I was pissed. Mostly at her. I just couldn't bring myself to forgive her. Do you think I was wrong for being so angry at her? She just wouldn't listen to me. Even as she got sicker, she was convinced the foundation would cure her. And even though I knew they couldn't, I think some part of me was hoping it was all real.
The foundation, it failed me too.
It did? I thought you were a senior member.
I am. It's just, I'm not sure I believe in everything they teach anymore.
Sounds like you're wising up. Wish my wife did. They really did a number on her. Built her up, gave her a sense of power and control, only to trick her into giving them complete control over her. Of herself at the end. Maybe it's time to get out before they do the same to you. You hear that? There you are. I was looking for you.
Wait.
Come on. Let's get you home.
Stop! I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Silent Hill Ascension post-show. This is Eduardo, joined here by Layla. And Layla, well, we got to see kind of the voicemail train keep on going.
Yeah, how do I put this? I think I would have done the same, right? I think if I were going to go down like Toby, I would have also called my useless friend to be like, you owe me this one.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Is like, I mean, there's that parallel, right? Joy calls Toby calls Eric. I wonder who Eric's gonna call. Anyways, no spoilers.
Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters, oh, that's the one. But no, apart from that, that's the thing is, we're kind of in this spot where, well, Eric's gonna have to deal with that. We'll actually go into the decision that opened up as a result in a bit of a time, but I did want to point out, Orson's missing, and we get the quick parallel with Faith, and I mean, Rachel got more than she bargained for, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, both Astrid and Rachel had a run-in, right? And I think if I'm gonna talk run-in with Dead Mom versus run-in with, again, our good boy BOI, I might have to go with Dead Mom, just all circumstances considered.
Yeah, it's reasonable. But again, if you also want to have your face eaten off by a dog like our lovely audience member here that was part of the action, well, cameos are there for you. You can win a cameo contest and also be part of the Silent Hill Ascension canon forever. Production team's going to throw that up on screen. And Layla, if you could walk us through essentially, well, the gist of it.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So you can be an extra in Silent Hill Ascension, taking part in cameo contests regularly. And cameo contests are entered with influence points. And I think, Eduardo, you have the details.
Right. So that's the thing, right? We saw that. We saw the action. The thing is, you as an audience member at home can be part of the Silent Hill Ascension story, the canon. You can have your scene immortalized. You can be replayed thousands of times as people watch you die over and over again, which I'm sure a lot of you are eking of joy to know about. Now, to enter those, you need influence points. The reason we're talking to you about it is that the cameo contest happens regularly, but the one for today is closing soon. So if you're interested in that, highly recommend you go do that, enter it, come back, listen to us again, hopefully. But that's the thing with cameos, you are in the thick of the action. You just don't necessarily know what part might be yours.
Yeah, sometimes you get to serve someone a drink, and sometimes you get your face eaten off by a dog.
I like the dog eating face one because it's very memorable, but because I will remember. No, that's it. The one where there was the scene that our production team is going to throw on screen, the video that kind of premiered today, is where Eric gets a final voicemail from Toby where he asks Eric to fulfill his last request. And really, I mean, I remember it reminded me strongly of how
Toby getting that voicemail from Joy. Comparison to this one, right? Because Joy called him and was like, "Hey, I'm happy. Wish you'd pick up your phone." And Eric gets a voicemail that's like, "Hey, bruh, I'm dead. Can you go tell the town to eat crap?" Like it's quite different tonally, but befitting of Toby.
Yeah, I actually like the message. I like it. I like it when Astrid tells her mother, fight back. I like it when our audience is making those decisions where it's kind of like fight back on it. Put yourself down, make it go forward. And one of the big things here, by the way, is one of the things with Eric, right, is so far all of the actions that Eric has mostly done are something that somebody else set in motion. Eric followed Rachel. Eric did something that, Toby requested, kind of gave the pen, whatever. It was, Eric kind of like just went with the flow. And this is the first time, by the way, because we're going to show what that decision is today. But you saw Eric for the first time in an Endure scene. It's probably not the last. Eric is really coming into his own. He's becoming one of the characters, so to speak, to watch. And one of the things here that, Layla, after all, Toby's gone, right? So somebody has to almost carry that legacy.
Yeah, it's kind of like, how in legal matters, you can be a person of interest in a crime and it sounds cool, but it's actually a bad thing. I feel like it's the same vibe here. Eric is becoming a person of interest and a person for us to watch. And poor Eric.
Yeah, you're right. Person of interest in Silent Hill Ascension sounds horrible. Like in terms of, oh, you're gone missing, you're gone dead, something is not going well for you. After all, we saw it. The one audience member that got featured in our scene died. So let's remember, you don't want to really be in this world as a person of interest. But our production team's going to further decision that kind of opened today here because it's about Eric and Toby.
Yeah, and the question for the day is, how will Eric memorialize Toby, right? We heard what Toby wanted, but what is Eric actually going to do now that, now that the audience can help guide him in his decision-making? You got the redemption choice, which is deliver his spiteful send-off. You got a suffering choice, toast his memory, or the damnation choice, celebrate that he's gone. So a real range of like, hey, here's this last thing that I could do for you, to I will spit on your memory forever.
Yeah, and the thing is, right, we're part of the development team, so you'd expect us to be unbiased and let you kind of choose, which we are. But also, let's be honest, Layla clearly wants to have Eric deliver the spiteful send-off.
Absolutely. Listen, I have never claimed to be unbiased in my personal opinions. I'm only an unbiased developer, and I can compartmentalize my personal opinions from my habits as a producer, let me tell you. And in my personal opinion, this is Layla the host, not Layla the producer. You give him that send-off.
Yeah,
give my boy what he deserves.
Oh, yeah. I want more spite. The spiteful is the part that gets to me, right? I like that. You know, it's also at the bar, right? It's you gotta do it as well as you're a little bit more into that, because people are gonna like lean in closely, right? They're gonna like get their first drink. So by the time like that send-off is in, people are ready to listen. So like hopefully, Eric delivers like a top tier speech. That's what I'm looking forward to in the scenes. And I mean, that decision, I believe, is closing tomorrow. I believe it's a single day decision. So we're going to probably see the result of that quite soon, which is lovely to see.
Yeah, and I can actually double check that for us. You are correct. It will be closing tomorrow. So you guys got 24 hours to decide what Eric is going to do. And would you look at that? Spiteful send-off already taking the lead. So, I guess we'll see what happens in 24. We've seen neck and neck decisions go back and forth. Especially we talked about the Toby one on Monday, but like that really went back and forth 40 to 41, 40 to 41% over and over again. So we'll see. I know we said today was a low key build up of a show, right? You can't be all peaks. You got to be some valleys. But it's important to me personally as a lover of Toby. So I'm excited to see what the audience will choose.
Right. I mean, the funeral is important. It's part of the catharsis. I mean, Ingrid's funeral that we, saw yesterday was also an important scene. It was finally being able to bury the monster, so to speak, because let's be honest, she was horrifyingly present.
Is the problem.
Still is, yeah. Past doesn't apply, sadly, yes. But no, had a lot of effect. I mean, and that's the thing is, it feels like the characters are finally happy she's not there, right? We saw Carl and Mette as well. That was a big thing for me. It's like they're finally happy. We'll delve a little bit more into that afterwards as well, because the thing is, Layla mentioned again that redemption and damnation were really close. So I'm going to ask you, again, to kind of explain a little bit more about the Fate Hope system. A lot of our audience are, of course, aware, but we want to contextualize it in that sense of like, yesterday was really that back and forth.
Absolutely. So in terms of the Fate and Hope, decisions, endurance scenes, and puzzles all contribute to whether characters will face redemption, suffering, or damnation in Silent Hill Ascension's finale. Their fate is decided across the length of the entire season. A character's hope needs to be high enough for them to survive a crucial story moment. And Toby's hope was low.
So it was so low. I mean, part of that was also that like Toby was in a lot of the early endure scenes, as to be fair, a lot of you in the audience were kind of getting your feet wet. We were trying to figure out as well how much we wanted you to how shall I put this delicately, trip over yourselves in the endure scenes. So part of that happened. Now, that said, one of the important parts with that decision was it was a final fate decision. So length of the season doesn't necessarily mean that every character will be that last exact second. So pay attention. If you see, again, a decision come up with final fate, that's when the alarm bell should ring in your head. We didn't want to like highlight it too much. We did a bit, but when you see it again, definitely pay attention.
Yeah, unfortunately, there are two things I guess you don't want to be that we've learned from the show. You don't want to be in a Silent Hill Ascension, which is the person of interest or one of the first people to experience anything, right? You don't want to be the test case for sure. So again, rest in peace, poor Toby. I will personally miss you very much. I will see you again, I suppose, in all the replays.
No, yeah, no, you get to see that again. And one of the things right here is, if you hadn't had the chance to check out the interview with Chris Cross on Monday, one of the big things we showed, as well with the interview with Martin Montgomery, was kind of that scene where like all of the decisions, because we saw kind of Toby's final fate decision, right? It was like this kind of huge tree. And one of the things is a lot of it was based on a lot of previous decisions that you made throughout the course of the first couple of weeks. So that wasn't just based on you making, as an audience, a single call. You made multiple calls over the course of the season that ended up in that exact situation. There were actually that scene actually had smaller variations that were based on some of the the decisions that you made earlier. So it's obviously the big finale, right? The final fate, that was a big part of what happened, but also things that you had decided earlier changed a lot of what happened on Toby's final moments. So that was really important. And do keep an eye out as you decide how things go. You'll notice as well, if you're really sharp, you'll have noticed one of the scenes that played called back to a decision because I doubted, right? Rachel had doubted. That was actually a decision very early on, and that got called back, so to speak. And these decisions do affect how the experience keeps being shaped up.
Yeah, absolutely. That one actually took me off guard, right, when we were watching the content, where I was like, because I doubted, like she was doubting a couple weeks ago. So that's definitely one to keep an eye on. And as you were talking, I actually went and took a little peek-see at Eric's hope, because I think Astrid and Rachel are quite low, but I'm looking at or any of our characters rather alive, but Eric seems to be the most salvageable right now.
So to be fair, Layla, we've talked a lot about which characters we like, which character, we're saddened by the death. But let's be honest, this is a rough question I'm going to ask you, but which character do you actually would not mind seeing the back of, so to speak? Again, we're in a horror series, right? You at home, there should be a character at least that you're like, yeah, I want to, you know what? If this person saw an untimely fate, that'd definitely be entertaining, so to speak.
We have a no spoilers rule on the show, Eduardo, so I actually can't give you my answer.
Oh, okay. Well, I actually don't read ahead, so let's see. Who would I...
She's an international woman of mystery.
Yes. No, that's the thing. I mean, we kind of have a series based around fog, so that kind of makes sense to me that there's shrouded in mystery. I mean, we saw the fog again show up in Norway, and actually... kind of entertainingly, if you wanted a good ending for me, the character you'd want to see the back of is the fog clearing.
Okay, the fog being a character, that's very literary of you, Eduardo.
I mean, it is a key trope, actually, of, the franchise, the fog. And that's one of the things is whenever I see that damn fog, I know something's up. It's almost like a key signal. I'm trained to know that something's up. And I mean, we saw it when the kid's missing, right? Like we saw it when Ingrid shows up. We saw it as well, I believe, at the farm with, Forager, Carl, and Eva. So again, it's definitely I also remember seeing it in Pennsylvania, close to Toby's end. So, turns out, I mean, the monsters are really good villains, but nothing.
Listen, it seems like you've got Pavlov's fog. Every time you see it, you start to salivate. It's, that's, again, very literary of you, but I do agree. I think if there's any sign of things improving, it would be a higher visibility, right? You want to be able to see more than 3 meters in front of your face. That's interesting. I believe now we're actually moving into our other segment, which is the dev updates, Eduardo.
Yep, development updates for sure. I was gonna say being able to, see ahead of you, not so great in Rachel's position where again our audience member got the vote. But again, so one of the things we like to do here on the Wednesday hosted show is to talk to you about the development updates, because we want to make sure that you, the audience at home, are informed about how things are evolving, what we're doing. A lot of you are sending in feedback, so it makes sense, and we really want to make sure that you understand how things are changing. So our production team's going to throw up that graphic. Layla's going to walk you through the highlights, and then I'll kind of walk you through a little bit of the details.
Absolutely. So number 1, puzzles, new puzzle, pathways, and new levels for existing puzzles. So if you're a fan of puzzles, good day for you. Here, you may have actually heard me refer to pathways in the pre-show by its quite literal definition. So Eduardo, you got some detail there?
Yeah, of course. So, and by the way, when we're on the development team, and sometimes we have guests that also use development terms. So because we're in development updates, is a good time for you, the audience, to hear this. We might use terms that try to spot them as you go. Try to spot what we're like, how we've been discussing these things internally, how things are. We're going to be hanging out again in this show for a couple of minutes. Don't worry, we're not going to keep you away from Pathways if you wanted to try it out. Just a couple of minutes away. Again, new levels, bug fixes. We want to improve things as we go along. So our puzzles keep advancing. We know a lot of you enjoy being able to do these. So we want to keep enjoying delivering them to you. Stability improvements, across the board. We want to make sure you have the best experience. Again, update your app if you're on phone. But again, the idea is we're improving things as they go. Finally, in Streams, I'll explain a bit more. So the thing is, one of the tricks with it is that all of your, every browser, every device is different. So a lot of you have actually been writing into us. You've been telling us, I have this issue. This is the device I use. This is what's going on. So when you're telling us those problems, we fix them for you. And again, Silent Hill Ascension lasts a while. So, we believe that if you keep going with us, you're very interested in having a better experience. And we're very interested in delivering that better experience to you. So please do write in. So one of the ways is feedback@jedivid.com, but you can do it within your just again about the issues you face, but parts of the story you've been enjoying, different aspects of the show that you've liked seeing, that you wish you across the world at any time. What's been up? These development updates are also helpful in that regard to kind of help push back.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you for all that, Eduardo. We are, with that, nearing the end of our show. So it's right back to you to take us out.
Sure. So again, we saw the kids are missing. That was a big thing today. Saw Orson missing. That segued right into Rachel trying to find Faith. Big thing, as Joy left. As Layla pointed out, not the same tone. So you got a decision to make. It's going to last 24 hours. We're done with this. You get to try Pathways for free. That's essentially directly in puzzles. It's in the Arcane Library. You get to enjoy that right away. Wednesday and Friday pre-show, 5:40 p.m. Pacific, post-show right after the show that is every weekday at 6 p.m. Pacific. Again, if you've been watching us for a while, we did make a change. So we moved from every day to weekdays. That helps essentially. That's part of actually your feedback at home. You were essentially, a lot of you wanted to catch up with the story, but were having trouble doing so on weekends. And we felt that it was best to keep delivering the story you wanted to see in a way that made sense to your schedule as best as possible. So again, that change happened. But Layla, I know. Last little thing, right? I know Toby's off, but who's your like next favorite now? Who's your like new champion?
I think I've stated before. This is fun because I do have to actually decide live. I was not prepped for this.
No, you were not. This is part of the fun.
This is part of the fun. Eduardo does like to trick me sometimes. I'm split between Mete and probably Astrid. I think I'm Team Norway right now.
To be honest, I really like the drama between Astrid and back like when I was at school, I made paper fence. Maybe I'll do that. So, anyways. Halfways and from enjoying the rest of your day, evening, wherever you are. Rain, shine, or fog. Take care, everybody.